This boat is real. So I gotta share. Okay, so I was telling Meg I have a list, so we can just go right down the list. And it'll only take us like 5 hours.
Great. Fisticuffs. Let's do it.
Right off the bat, how do you guys feel that that PAX went?
So I don't think I am alone here in saying not from our perspective, but from like a general con perspective, that this year was pretty underwhelming.
Yeah, I think there's two big things that went into that. One is that it overlapped GDC, so like half the people who would be at the video game side of it were in San Francisco, and the video game side of it was particularly lame this year.
Yeah,
there was really only like Overwatch was like the big thing, and the announcement of Rock Band 4, but like you couldn't do anything with it, and like yeah, it was really that was pretty underwhelming. But yeah, we can talk about. I think that it'll get better next year if they don't do another insane scheduling thing. This is bigger. There's more people.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I never got out of the tabletop area, which is fine for me. I like that. So, how did you guys like? Because you guys spent more time over demoing Pack the Pack than I did. So, how do you feel that arrangement was?
I felt that arrangement was fine, but I think the idea of because we were so few people that covering 2 booths is a little strenuous for 3.5 people. So
yeah. Did you feel like having Rowan?
Yeah, I did like though. I liked.
Sorry, go ahead.
My timing sucks.
Meg?
I think Meg's frozen. Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay, and we can hear you.
Yay! No, I liked how, though, like all the tables were facing outward. Like everybody had sort of the same visibility. Like at Gen Con, we were like pushed way back, and it sucked. So the setup of it was really good.
Yeah, Sherry did a great job of like managing the actual visibility of the booth in most respects, and I think it was a pretty decent location where it was at, and I think everything that Ad Magic did was actually really solid, honestly.
I think my only concerns with that booth were that there were empty tables, right? I wish that could have been not the case. And if that meant like designers needed to like be tag teaming at tables, that's fine. I mean, we tried to set up that, especially like I think we succeeded at that on like Saturday and Sunday. But there were just like on Friday for most of the day, like there was just empty ass tables to the left and to the right of me, and that was really I didn't like that because it was just like I'm standing next to these 2 billboards. Also, the tables are really neat until someone comes up and starts like checking out your product, in which case the tables are worthless, right? Because they're standing in front of the sign. So I wasn't a huge fan of that. But I also have that. That's another one of my my issues with like the Indie Bazaar stuff is sight lines. You know, it's just like from a visibility accessibility standpoint, convention booths can be really bad. The way that Sherry had it set up, where like the demoing was all on the perimeter, awesome, exactly the way it should be, and that everyone had to then come in to purchase stuff, also that's great. Like she did a great job with that. Really though, like you want signage above the heads of people, so that you're never when you're engaging a person, you're still making impressions.
I am totally not against that, but I will say that it is how that booth was handled is considerably better than how prior any other booth that we've been a part of has been managed.
Yeah, no, I think so. And they had dedicated people on the registers.
Exactly.
I think the Indie Bazaar, so here's the thing. I like the Indie Bazaar, but I loved working with those people. I am 100% behind working with them again in an expanded capacity. I want to take the good things from the Ad Magic booth and bring it to the Indie Bazaar, and then I think it would be a perfect place, right?
Yep.
Because the Indie Bazaar it had a lot of great people on it. In fact, the problem was that it had too many people. It was like way too small for the amount of people who were jam-packed back there.
Yes.
And so you had all these great designers, like in this tiny little area, all of us not like tripping over each other, having wonderful conversations, meeting fans, and doing a good job of selling each other's products, which I thought was great. Everyone everyone kind of tried to learn the elevator pitch of all the different products, and then usually you could just turn around and be like, I don't know all the details because this is the lady who wrote it, and then they would step in. Or they'd be out demoing it on the floor. And we can talk about this when we get to Con stuff next year. I really want to team up with them, just us and them, for next year. And I think that they're open to that. I think our sales through the Indie Bazaar were good. They're obviously not as good as the year before because we completely ran out of our big selling product on Saturday, which makes it hard to sell any on Sunday. And I think we would have done better if we had had more of that shit. What's going on with my camera? It's a ghost. So that was just like an unavoidable problem, and I couldn't make up for that with the expansion sets. They just weren't. They were harder to move. I think that I'll still move them all, and we did okay with them. But because of the way the booth is set up, it was very, very easy. Like, I had people coming up who were like, oh, you guys are here. I couldn't find this game anywhere. Like, there were people who wanted Slash and stuff and Bad Habit, and I told them about Pack the Pack. They wanted to see the stuff we were doing, but they just literally could not see where it was. And I don't think that can be overstated, like how important the visibility is when it comes to, especially much less at a smaller convention. But anything where you're talking about double-digit thousands of people, like that needs to be the primary concern: visibility and location, visibility and location. And then the ability to handle the people that come along with that. So, that being said, I think that I haven't heard like an actual answer as to how many Pack the Pack were sold, if any. Because Dan, you said one number, and then Sherry said nothing. But then what?
I personally sold them.
What?
Huh?
I signed copies after people bought them.
Okay, all right, good. Because there is the issue of the price point for it, which has its merits and needs to be discussed.
Yep, absolutely.
I am not a fan of running any kind of discounts. Mm-hmm. I think that we have a $40 value product. It's slight. It looks a little bit slight, and that is a negative for it. Especially when you see it horizontally and not like standing face forward. But when people really get into it, they see all the stuff in it, and I think that that's fine. That being said, like the online sales at like $35, $40, I don't think are going to be a problem at all. When people see it at a con, I think there's an argument to be made for doing a $35 price, because then we're like giving them a break on the shipping or something like that. Yep. Like, people want a little bit of it, and I think like $5 off isn't going to hurt us. And on top of that, the reason that I'm really against doing a big price cut, and I said this to Sherry when me and Dan and Sherry all met, was if we cut the price of it, we have to then cut the wholesale price of it. And if we get the wholesale price of it, that's where we really get fucked. Right?
Exactly.
Because right now, we make money on wholesale sales. It's not a lot, but we make money on the wholesale sale. And we can't not do that. And if we knock $10 off, we will be not doing that. So I think that we can't do that for wholesales, but when it comes to selling it at shows, we could conceivably do $30, $35, depending. Like, you could do like this is one of the things that I was doing with Slash, not on this convention, but at other ones where I would like, if someone got the $10 expansion and the base set, I would sell them both for like $30. So, you're just kind of playing with the numbers a little bit. Because you're saving so much, you're getting such a high margin when you do a direct sale anyway that it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's discounts, but then there's like a con price too, or like the con thing bundles it with something else.
Yeah, I think both of those are viable approaches. We only have like 50 copies of the 1,000 that are coming, so it's too early to make any kind of real radical move on it. But I think we're going to be fine when it comes to online sales. I don't think this is the type of game that we're going to sell all of it out really, really quick. It's not going to go in big waves.
And we knew we weren't.
Yeah, but it'll just be like a copy here every week, every 2 weeks, or whatever. And that's the point. You get enough of those products, and you're fine, right? That's like long tail strategy, which is, I think, great for us and what we should be doing.
Right, and maybe it's something like where we don't drop the price on it, but even for online sales, maybe like we do something with shipping or something like that. But I think we need to spend some time and look at it.
Yeah, well, so that's when it comes to shipping now, like, I literally just got the boxes in my house today, and I've been so catching up on shit that I haven't really had a chance to fuck with it. But looking at the boxes, there might be more we can do shipping-wise to change some of the prices. So we may be able to offer some kind of deal on the shipping, or like play that game to do some online deals. But I think that for right now, is everyone agreeable to keeping the price at $40 for online sales, and then when we go to a show, depending on the temperature of the room, knocking $5 to $10 off, or $5 off, and then also doing a bundle or something like that?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm fine with that.
Even Sherry said Sherry's suggestion was she thought it would really, really move at 35. Just from her opinion, she thought 35 was where it would move. Yeah. So, 15 games like that.
Yep, that's fine. That's fine.
The thing that with Pack that I want to bring up is, what do you think the possibility is that we print up 1,000 stickers to fix the error on the cover of the box?
What error?
That it says it's for ages 6 and above.
Oh, what is it supposed to say? 12 and above?
Yeah. So the cover of the rules book and the cover of the box are different.
Oh, monkey dick.
Yep. Yep.
What's the?
So what the cover of the rules book says 3 to 6, and the cover of the box says 2+, and ages 6 and above. And we can't say ages 6 and above.
Okay. I can look into getting stickers. Taking care of that.
Yeah.
But also, so the other thing is that we can change that when we start selling to retail, start wholesaling it. But for direct online sales, we can make sure that information is like front facing.
Right.
It shouldn't be a problem.
Right. Actually, the first person that I sold to, this girl who was amazing and like a huge fan, she came back on Saturday and showed me. She's like, so I just want to point out that there's a difference here because we went back and we opened it and we were playing it and having a ton of fun. I'm like, oh.
Okay. Well, and that being said, like the cost of getting stickers to put over that is not going to be.
But it's like this big.
Yeah.
It's super small, so.
I can get the stickers die cut or I can get the stickers made to be exactly like that shape. It shouldn't be a problem.
I think we could just all get together on a Saturday and put stickers on boxes.
No, I'll just put them as needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what.
Okay, so make a note of that. Someone please take notes and make a note of that.
I'm taking notes.
My question is, what as far as the how we wholesale on Slash?
Yeah.
What were retailers just approaching us and being like, can we carry that most of the time?
Yeah, that's for the most part. And I've got about a dozen or more of them lined up for the next, like whenever we get the next wave in.
Right. Okay. So
So
like, how does this? What I'm kind of curious about is how do we market this properly so that we can do that for like for pack to pack. We didn't see like a ton of units move obviously with pack to pack, and I don't know my worry. I'm worried about visibility of the product so that wholesalers will be aware of it.
So I think there's like two or three approaches that you take to it. One is we're going to be Meg already kind of cooked this into the numbers that we are going to be sending out X number of review copies.
Okay.
Which is not I mean, we did that with Slash, but we did probably a dozen, maybe 2 dozen, and didn't get a lot of bites off of it. If I remember correctly, Meg, you were looking at doing like 30 plus review copies out to people, right? I don't know if she did. Anyway, so that's going to be more aggressive in that sense. Also, one of the things that I had Rowan doing while interning was making a giant mailing list of retail stores in America for us that we can pitch via email on these things. So, like I'll make a MailChimp campaign and also like do what we do with the Slash page, which is one of my things to do this week, is to kind of redo the pack page to have that, wholesaler orders and all that kind of shit on it. Yeah, so we would we would largely do it that way. I think those are the two main ways we do it, and then also going to shows and demoing it for people, which is what I did at Oresia when I had the prototype, and if I had connected with people at PAX, I would have done the same thing. But yeah, you take it to dealers there. Because usually stuff like Foam Brain, like they are at a convention every single weekend. So like, they are already buying 100 copies of the next wave of Slash. So like you go, hey, well here's our next thing and it's this, and here's our next thing, it's this. And there's other distributor networks. We don't really want to get involved with a distributor. We really want to be as close to direct to retail as possible, because the distributor is just another guy. I mean, they're not just another guy taking a bite at the apple. But for the scale we're operating at, that they take a disproportionately big bite.
Yep, I completely agree with that.
So I think that's the way we approach it. I mean, my perception of the product is that it is a longer tail product. We're going to move 1,000 units over it over the course of a year or 2 years, as opposed to over the course of 9 months.
Okay.
And I don't think that's irrational.
I don't think so either. I just wanted to make sure.
But I think that I'm like really laggy, but yes, and I do think that this game might have more potential, like on a distributor. So like,
yeah,
like if it comes along, I think we should look at it.
Oh yeah, no, totally. Because I think it has more of a toy nature than any of the other stuff we've done, and so it could break that way. I mean, I'm not saying no preemptively to any of this. I'm just saying like the strategy out of the gate we should probably move in this direction.
That's exactly kind of like where the next point is going to take it. Like as far as visibility, we should make. I feel like we should make sure that it's visible in like kind of like you said, like a toy nature, or like it definitely geared towards kids, because we actually and Rowan did too. We garnered like a lot of kids who like saw it and immediately wanted to play it.
Yeah,
it's a super colorful game. It's beautiful. So
I got that.
The other thing to just think of when we actually get all the copies is we do have copies that are going to go into after school programs, so we should really think of like how we can put press around that, because that could be a big deal, and that could be the mark, like the angle for it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that you find markets in places that aren't traditional brick and mortar hobby stores, which is again very much part of that's our steez, right? Like we want to get outside the geeks to make more geeks.
Meg, what are you drinking?
I don't know. I was given it. It's blue and it has cherries.
I don't know.
Does it glow under a
I
black
don't
light?
know.
No, but now she does.
Maybe.
Shit, you guys have booze. I gotta go get one of those. So yeah. All right. Okay. Oh, so yeah. That was actually. So
I didn't hear that.
what?
There was nothing to hear.
Yeah, I'm just. Okay, so that's the pack stuff. The Indie Bazaar. Talk to you about that later. Website updates. This is stuff I obviously will be working on. Put the pack expansion and the burlesque expansion, which we still have like 8 or 9 of, up on the Slash site to sell. Those should do absolutely fine. And then also doing putting Bad Habit up for sale, because I have 20 of them or so left that I can put up, and then we're getting the rest of the bag should be 2 weeks or so. So we'll have the rest of that 100. And Meg, you're frozen. So I'm gonna kick Meg and then re-invite her. Ejected. And re-invited. So yeah, so that's what my plan is with Bad Habit and with the expansion leftovers. And hopefully I can get that nailed this week or 2 weeks at the outside.
Okay, cool. By the way, were you at the show approached at all by a high school teacher?
No, I don't remember why.
I don't know. I told one woman who was a high school teacher about Bad Habit, and she was deeply intrigued by the whole idea. And
I
said,
think it might have been. I think
okay.
so. But I wasn't there 100% of the time, so maybe they came when I wasn't at the booth.
All right, yeah.
Good. All right, so website updates, rules writing things. Did you pick up the printouts from Hippo?
So yeah, that was actually my guilty secret. I completely spaced it on the way down Friday. I got out of my appointment and I was just like, and I didn't even, for some reason, I forgot it. So they're still at the Hippo.
Okay, so that's fine. We can pick them up. You know what? While Meg's working on it, I'm gonna go upstairs and get myself a scotch. So I'll be right back. Dan, entertain our viewer. Is she back? 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 She's not back.
Not yet.
Okay. Well, let's move on and we can recap some stuff, or she can watch it later on. So yeah, I got to pick up the show must go on stuff, format it, write up some rules for it, and then I'm going to make up cards for it, get them printed, and make that our next patron release. How do you feel about that?
The show must go on. That's a Shakespearean thing?
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, I totally printed out the scripts for that, and
yeah,
we never used them.
Did you read them?
It's pretty good. Rob did a good job.
Yeah, I liked it. So it's full of Shakespeare bullshit.
It is.
Real Shakespeare bullshit. So
Rob was perfect for this.
Yeah. I'm glad he didn't type it. So we need to pay him, and I will take care of that. because I don't ever like. We're never taking work from people without paying them. Like that's. I never want to do it, and it makes me feel icky. And yeah.
No,
We're never taking work from people without paying.
I don't want to speak for Meg, but I think we're all in like 100% in agreement on that respect.
Okay. Oh, I ejected you. So Meg says she's not allowed into our thing because I ejected her. Why am I getting balloons? Gosh darn it. Still not allowed. How do I... Oh, this is stupid.
Wait, did you so you ejected her?
Yeah. Ow.
Ow, alcohol.
No, I hit my teeth on the glass. So... got a bit of widow boodoo. Let's see what other ones might be getting. Crow.
So, by the way, the guy I introduced you to at the booth one day, Mike Sush, I've been following him. Him and I have been following each other on Twitter for 7 years and been bantering back and forth, and that was the first time I met him. That was weird.
I don't remember you introducing me to anybody.
Yeah, it was very brief. It was on the first day there.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's all a complete fucking blur. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. Okay, so other stuff. Boing Boing started a new blog, a new site for games called Offworld. And it looks like Lee Alexander is one of the editors of it, and it's not like a tokenism like approach, but it is a like. Okay, so now I gotta invite Meg again. So it's a more diverse group of editors and writers, which is really cool, and like they're concerned about representation issues. So I'm going to be sending a review. Well, if they are interested, I'm going to be sending a review copy of Bad Habit out to them because I think it's right up their alley.
Cool.
And that's that. Keep trying to invite Meg.
Oh man, my roommate is watching
Something shitty.
No, it's actually one of my favorite movies. The one with Heath Ledger and he's a knight.
Oh, A Knight's Tale, He Will Rock You.
Yeah, A Knight's Tale. Yeah, I love that movie.
It's A Knight's Tale, He Will Rock You.
Yeah.
Yeah. According to the poster.
It's like
womp, womp. It's a good one. It's got the guy who plays Vision in it also.
Yeah, I don't know. I was really upset when people were like, it had music from like Queen in it. It wasn't like very real. It's like if you didn't know what you were in for.
There were no cameras back in the 1300s. Yeah, it has Shoshana Sasaman in it, and she's pretty good. Yeah, that was fine. It's a perfectly fine movie. I enjoyed it. It's fun. It's got jousting. What's wrong with jousting? It was like the WWE version of the Middle Ages. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm done with that. It was good.
Okay, I don't know what's going on with Meg. Oh wait, maybe there we go. Meg, are you in here? This is Kill. Yay! Hey, Meg, did you like A Knight's Tale? That's a good movie, right? Moving on.
Okay.
Okay, so what I was saying is that I need. Dan got the stuff printed, but he didn't pick it up, so I'm going to pick up the stuff that was printed and write up rules for Show Must Go On, and then I am going to set a date for us to play test it drunkenly, and then make that our next patron game.
Called?
The Show Must Go On.
And what was it called?
The Show Must Go On.
Okay.
That's the Shakespeare one. So yeah.
Cool.
And then I was saying Boing Boing started a new blog that's all about gaming. It's called Offworld. It has a diversity perspective I don't want to speak for them. That's what it appears from the outside. Like they have a board of editors and writers who seem very conscious of those issues, which is perfect. So I was going to send him a copy of Bad Habit because I think it'd be right up their alley. And then the next thing I have for blog stuff is Hannah Schaefer did Chrislandia. She does freelance web work.
I was on panel with her.
What?
I was on a panel with her.
Oh yeah, she's wonderful. It got me thinking that we should consider doing a revamp of the website, perhaps towards the end of this year. So just keep that bee in your bonnet, and actually paying a person to do it, because
I think that's completely cool.
Okay. Speaking of paying people, we need to pay Rob for the script stuff he did for The Show Must Go On. And what I had said to Dan was, I never want people doing work for us where we're not paying them. I just want to periodically make sure we're all on the same page about that, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. And I still got to pay Rowan for con stuff. And then probably next week I'll contact Shari about booth sales for Mad Magic, and I'll hear back from the Indie Bazaar people. My rough estimate is that we're probably gonna see 1,500 to 2,000 combined between the two booths, which isn't bad. Again, like profile is a huge part of it. I think we could have done a ton better if we had a much higher profile. Okay, mailing pack-to-pack games. We have like 40 or so to mail out.
When you do know the totals of the booths, will you just email it to us?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. So pack-to-pack stuff, we have about 50, right? I don't know. I haven't counted them. Don't know how many are left. But the full delivery is supposed to hit the port in New York on the 19th, which if we have not already communicated that via Kickstarter, we should do that. Yeah, so that means that we'll be able to fulfill stuff it'll hopefully arrive Friday or Saturday. I can start doing fulfillment at some point over those few days, and my goal will be to have it all done before the last week of March is over. So,
cool.
So that shouldn't be so bad. But that means we're going to need the money for doing the mailing. So there's that. Design stuff for actually going back to the writing rules for The Show Must Go On, and doing card design is another thing I'm going to be working on in the next week or two to make that our next patron thing. Okay, and then we've got we kind of have two big discussions to have. One is about the reprinting of Slash, and the other is about convention stuff for the rest of 2015 and 2016. What do you want to talk about first?
The first one.
Yeah.
Reprinting Slash?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. So the quote from the factory that we had talked to was looking at like $5.25 per game. That gets it to the boat. So it ends up being 5,250, give or take, to get it to the boat. I am going to be, which is really good, for 1,000 copies. So I am going to be contacting UPS Forwarding, which does international freight, to get a quote for approximately 1,800 pounds of freight from China to me. And then we'll see what that is. This is brand new fucking waters for me. I would guess it's somewhere between $1,000 and $2,000.
Well, so, we had freight quotes when we did it before, so we could just assume it's the same thing, right? Probably.
Yeah. Somewhere in. That's why I said between 1 and 2, because the freight quotes last time were like 1,700.
Yeah. So let's just assume it's 2,000, and if it's better, then that would be great.
Okay. So right now we have $4,700. And we're probably going to pull 1.5 to 2,000 in from this convention. So, like, we could place the order relatively soon, like right after we get paid for this, and then, be ready to go as quickly as possible. The reason that is attractive is because that means that we should have copies back for PortCon and also for the Metatopia and massive Comic-Con in Worcester, which we will have a presence at, which is happening in the same time.
We won't have it in time for PortCon.
What?
We won't have it in time for PortCon.
PortCon's at the end of June.
It's June.
Yeah. It's the end of June. So that's like, if we ordered it, like, we should get it in about 3 months.
Yeah, that's cutting it really close. Maybe like if we ordered it tomorrow, I wouldn't count on PortCon. The other ones, absolutely.
Okay. Well, maybe we can. Okay, so are we all in agreement that we want to get a second printing of Slash?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
All right. And we
Can
already
you find
have
out what are the prices though if we order more than 1,000?
Better. Like, it gets down to like 4. Significantly, yeah. Like, if we were to go to 2,500, it would drop by more than $1. No, about $1. So it would be 4,025 or so. So, yeah. I mean, that's a
that's a lot more to make up. Okay.
It's a lot more to pick up. Could we move 2,500? Obviously, yes.
Yes.
But
do we have that much money? No.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think we start with 1,000, and then sell that stuff. So white in this camera. Okay. So I think what I would like to do is that as soon as we get the money from Ad Magic and Indie Bazaar, I would like to contact the factory and place the order for it. And then when it comes time, if there is a shortfall in terms of paying for freight, I think that I will see what I can do about putting my own money towards it, or about subsidizing it via perhaps bad habit sales, which we should get some of, or I don't know, I could sell some blood or something. But we should be able to
let's start cranking out the Patreon like crazy.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe that's what we should be focusing on, and then from the Patreon, figure out like where the audience is and which one of those to take bigger.
Yes, that's a very good point. Yes, that's a very good point.
Like, let's put all of our ideas just on Patreon and then have that decide.
Yeah. Well, so like I said, the Shakespeare game I should be able to crank that out relatively soon, and then I guess we can discuss whatever one we do after that.
And again, I have my sex werewolf game.
I think that game doesn't have enough components to it to make it command $35.
Which
And so
one?
The Sex Werewolf.
Oh, it's not $35. Oh, for like the highest? No, absolutely not.
Yeah. So we would have to like bundle that with a second one, which is fine. So maybe we do that. Okay. So good. We're on board with that. As soon as I get the information about the money and specific prices, I'll get back in touch with you guys about things. So let's talk about conventions.
Yeah.
So all of our panels were approved for PortCon.
Cool.
As far as I know, they said they are. It's not official, but they are. So we need.
Hold on, did they accept my description of the last one?
Yeah.
That's great.
So that apparently is happening, the 18+ one and the PG-13 one. So
I like 18+ one.
Yeah, well, we need to not do a bad job with either of them. So
yeah,
I want to do. We're gonna need writers to write these types of things, and because we're not taking work from people for free, we need to be able to pay them some amount of money.
Okay.
Again, I'm willing to front some of the money to do all this. Hopefully, I won't have to front all the money to do all this, but we should agree upon it.
What? I missed to do what?
To get writers for the short stories.
Got it.
For the reading. And also, we should probably we need to get a room there.
Yeah, we do.
And if I can get the money for it, I can do it. But again, at this stage, I want to start if we're going to a convention as a company, I want to be paying for it as a company because we're there on the on the game. Are you going to be?
I've sort of been saying that forever.
Yeah, no, I think it's not that I don't agree with you. I just didn't necessarily think there was a capability to make that happen before, or that we just weren't at that stage in my mind. So I'm sorry if I was stupid then and wiser now.
Are all passes secured?
Yeah, we're all set with that.
Okay.
We might have to purchase one pass. I assume that I'm going, our intern is going, and Dan, you're going?
Yep.
Okay. Meg, are you going to be available to go June 25th?
I'd like to.
Okay.
The thing that I was just looking up is to make sure it's not the same weekend as the 5K I signed up for, and it's not. So I want to. I love PortCon. Yeah, PortCon's super cool. So I think we'd have fun there. I think, especially when it comes to Slash, those are our people. And frankly, when it comes to geeks in general, it's a very young crowd. Those are the people we want in games, period. We're going to have an Artist Alley space there. That's already set up. I think it's going to be right next to our artist pal from last year, Danielle, which will be super cool. So we can just do high fives all day.
That would be really good.
Yeah, so she was funny. And I have talked to Double Midnight, who are the people who are throwing MassCon, or I don't know what it's called, the thing in Worcester, right, where they're getting some big guests for it. It's at the Civic Center, I think, in Worcester. I don't know what the fuck it's called. But I told them that we wanted to help out with gaming stuff, just like we do at GraniteCon, but it's on the same weekend as PortCon Maine.
Oh. Well,
so I thought we could get some people to go in our stead to handle the game stuff. Because really what we provide for gaming is my asinine library of games plus Dan's asinine library of games. And if we can get...
Well, which one is the weekend is what?
Same weekend as PortCon. We're not going to be taking any games to PortCon.
No, what is?
MassCon or MassiveCon. It's a new convention in Worcester.
Yeah.
Richard Dreyfuss is going to be there.
Yeah, Richard fucking Dreyfuss is going to be there. The fuck.
Yeah, I know. I was like, that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, this convention means something. So that'll be interesting. So I want to have a person or two that we can send down to that just to do game support. And and then maybe like we can also sell stuff from the tabletop library. I don't know. I'll talk with Scott and Chris at Double Midnight. They're cool dudes, so they should be cool with that. And then the only other thing I definitely want to be hitting this year is Metatopia in November. I think it's a great opportunity, both networking-wise and sales-wise. It could be very good. I'm pretty sure the Indie Bazaar is going, so we might do team-uppy stuff with them. And definitely by that point we'll have plenty of copy to sell, unless we sold out again, in which case it's another one of those good problems. And even if we had sold out again, probably we would have been able to reorder by then and get it back. So we would need to look into getting vendor space there. I'll talk to the Indie Bazaar people about that, as long as you write a note that I should talk to the Indie Bazaar people about that. And if they're not doing it, then I'll talk with Avanel, who's the lady who runs all these, about doing vendor stuff, or seeing if we can do some kind of like guest for vendor arrangement like we're doing with PortCon.
And this is for Metatopia?
Yeah. And then, we would need to get a room and be like 3 nights.
I'll figure that out.
Room and stuff. It'll be good times. Good.
That sounds awesome. I really want to go to that.
Yeah. So the other thing is that I don't know if they're doing it again this year, but I should reach out to them to do another of the slash things, like there's the shipwreck slash thing, which was really good, profile-wise for the game. That at New York City Comic Con Super Week, so that might be something worth looking into. And then that's I think October. So after that we're really and also any prototypes we're working on, we should consider submitting them to Boston Fig, and they should be opening submissions.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so now let's talk 2016. I think TotalCon did actually fine for us. I think we ended up making $400 or something on it, which is,
cool.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that. Sold some copies. I had a good time on a panel. I met the dude who made the game Cyberpunk and got along with him really well, and yeah, I made some good contacts there, so that was cool. And it's relatively cheap. It's close. We can travel back and forth, so the expenditure is really low on it. So I think that's something that we can easily bank on next year.
Oh, I'm sorry. Which one is that?
TotalCon. That's in February. Also in I think right now it was the same weekend as TotalCon was DexCon, which is another one of the Jersey ones, which might be good, especially if we have some role-playing product to push, because DexCon is all weird LARP and role-playing stuff. So that might be something to consider. So where we stand on Gen Con? I know you're going to Gen Con this year, but...
I'm going to Gen Con, so, we can just do, guerrilla marketing with it if we want. We can see what Ad Magic is doing.
Yeah,
I really feel like Gen Con... I feel like Gen Con is like a pack-type market, and maybe that's it, and that might be okay.
Yeah, so maybe if they had, maybe we could have, maybe they could sell through copies of that there, and they could take a share or something.
And I'm going anyway, so that one's easy.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's one that we should it's not like a company investment type con.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want to be you be at a booth,
No. Oh God, no.
If we can sell the thing, then sell the fucking thing. If not, then I don't give too much of a shit. Plus, people who will have some of our product are going to be there already as retailers. So.
Yeah.
So there's that. So okay, so Unpub, which is going to be sometime in the first half of next year, I think, in Baltimore. Probably, or I don't know exactly what the dates are. I don't think they're set. I talked with Daryl Louder, who's the guy who runs it, and I made some promises to him that we should fulfill because it's a good idea. That to do a vendor table, which will also give us a table to do prototype playtesting, and then we should also be able to run a panel on DIY game creation and like providing people an alternative to pitching to publishers, and show them the third way of doing things. So, he was excited about that, and I was really excited about that, and I really think that is a very, very hardcore networking type thing. Like, there's not. I mean, we'll sell some product because they had crowds. That was fine, but really, it's there to like make connections, and also I think for us, it's kind of a mission thing more than a sales thing, because we want more people creating things and arming them with the ability to create things on their own. And this is exactly the audience who wants to create things, where they go to learn how to create or how to improve their creations. So I don't know a better place for us to really do that. That's also what attracted me to be Boston Fig. And if I had the time and the energy, I might do Boston Fig again this year. But doing Unpub next year, I think, is a really good move for us, profile-wise. How do you guys feel about that?
I'm all for it.
Plus, I got friends in Baltimore, so probably crash with them and we'll keep it nice and cheap. PAX 2016.
I think that's an obvious one.
Okay,
but I don't know the food situation.
I like your ideas, Glenn. I mean, I think it's definitely, we need to look at the prices and how much craziness it is. But I like your ideas. Yeah, we talked about while we were drinking, but I thought it was a good idea.
What did I talk about? Is this the? Oh yeah. And I floated that with them a little bit, and they seemed amenable to it. I would like to get a end cap booth for next year at PAX, which would basically be, so Dan, if you remember the Indie Bazaar and the booth that was right next to it, Torchbearer, it would be both of those. And what we would do is we would do a split between us and Indie Bazaar of like 60-40, 70-30 or something. So we wouldn't have to, because that'll probably cost around $3,000. But we, with the proper profile, will be able to make that. Like that doesn't frighten me, those numbers. And what really held it back was product and profile this time. And we still did fine. We're still, I don't know if we're going to be the best-selling thing in the Indie Bazaar, but we're goddamn up there. Definitely for Saturday. We kicked ass on Saturday. So I think we would make the money off of it, even if it was like a break-even thing. It's a great combination of like keeping good network and good communication with people who exactly are on our mission statement and on our track, and also our games will do well there. They'll sell well there. They sell better when creators are selling them, and so we'll be there. Manning that shit. And if we don't have to be in two different places, it makes it a hell of a lot fucking easier.
And I mean, I don't think it's going to be that expensive as what you're saying. It's going to be expensive, but again, we could potentially even invite more people than what at Indies Bazaar now to help with the cost, because there are people that would love to get in on that shit.
Well, that's exactly what Indie Bazaar does now is they buy out half of a double booth. So what we would be doing is looking to get a double booth and then kind of saying, listen, you can buy out half of it, but we're going to give you 70% of it because we love what you're doing.
Yeah, and invite potentially other people. Like, there are other indie designers out there that, us in our like fledgling days that have nowhere to be. And
Yeah, and that's something, I mean, the closer we get to organizing it, the the more we'd have to talk about that. And the Indie Bazaar is run on a very capitalo communist like approach, which I really dig. About kind of equal representation, and there are other logistical issues to talk about when it comes to like product demonstration. And one of the things I would really be interested in doing with the booth is to actually take all the creators away from the cash registers and have them kind of like they were doing at the Ad Magic booth, right? Like demo, talk to the people about your games, but then they don't have to like move them away from the display of the product when they're doing the purchase or that kind of thing. And keep the flow through the space. Oh my God, you look evil. Like that kind of logistical improvement, I think could really go a long way to making their numbers really good, because you could only fit 5 people in front of that booth before you couldn't see anything that was on sale. Meanwhile, like 1,000 fucking people are walking by because like Joshua's having a half-hour conversation with someone, which is amazing, and that person loves it, and they are a dedicated sale, but you're standing in front of my fucking game for a half hour. Like, you gotta, when they're making a purchase, you gotta move them. It's not rude.
That's when you his own little table thing.
Yeah, that's why those tables were really great. There's a space for that conversation. So, like, that's the combination that we need to think about. And whether we do something where we talk to like some Game Makers Guild people, like Sam Liberty was at the booth and he did great, I think.
Bye.
See you later. We're done anyway.
By the way, I just checked. The DoubleTree Hilton at PortCon is currently filled, but the Days Inn is not across the street. So we can try to book there later this week, maybe.
I'll contact them. They might have a block of rooms for guests, so maybe we can get in that way.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then I'll continue plugging away at Camp Powerful and all that stuff.
All right, cool. All right. Good night.
Good night.